But before we want to make the final analysis, let's go kind of like into why the Hollywood was like inevitable decline. Like the decline to me was inevitable, and a big part of that was technology, right? Even when the TV came out in the 1950s, they didn't immediately embrace the technology. They kind of like were like, oh, what is this thing? Blah blah blah. And eventually, when they saw the money coming in, they were like, oh, okay, we gotta take over, and we gotta use this ourselves. But when the internet and all this other stuff came out, they kind of slept at the wheel a bit. So let's go into like why. I mean, like when you examine the average, I guess, Gen Z person, sooner or later, I guess I'm gonna have to transit to Gen Alpha, because I feel like Gen Z is now like well into their 20s and 30s, or are they in their 30s? I don't know. Anyway, ask a typical 30 to 34-year-old today what they spend their money on entertainment now. And it's kind of like, 50 years ago, if you were to ask somebody, what 34-year-old, what do you do for fun, right? They would say, hang out with my friends, play sports, whatever. And then they would say TV and movies, right? Because that was the only kind of like options. But when you ask a 18 to 34-year-old now what they spend their money on, it's video games, it's streaming sites, it's social media, to individualized pornography. So we have massive and high quality TVs now that can replicate this experience of being in a theater. And then we can also access content from all over the world, from anyone in the world who has access to the internet. We have these mini supercomputers in our pockets. We have these tablets that we carry onto the airplanes, since we don't want to be bored on the airplanes. We just have to have constant interaction with the screen. Basically, like in a way, we've kind of recreated the world of Minority Report, just with all these screens, like, kind of like just shooting information at our eyes.